this vibe. Sipping on Patron, bitch, we live. Feeling like a star, nigga, high. Bitch, I'm high, yeah, yeah. Got a bad bitch, thick like Cardi B. Twerk on OnlyFans, still belong to me. Got my money up, living on my dream. Smacking all these hoes, spread my energy. Say she got a man, don't feel her knees. Bad little bitch cold, made a nigga freeze. What's good, everybody? I'm Brandon. Today I'm about to do another video from What Culture Wrestling. This one right here is titled Ups and Downs from WWE SummerSlam 2020. Y'all requested this one heavy. Bro, you already know I got you. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all I'm gonna do it. This video, you already know it's extremely long. So if I have anything to say, I'm gonna just speak over the homie Simon. Simon always does a great job with catching us up and giving us a review of what happened. So I'm ready to hop on into it. Shout out to the people that already told me Roman Reigns came back. I don't know why you would spoil that for me, but it's cool. I'm not even mad at you. Maybe you were just excited, so you wanted me to know. You know what I'm saying? So I already know Roman Reigns came back. That's kind of lit, though. I'm not even gonna lie. That's kind of lit. I'm ready to hop on into this. I hope all of you guys have a good day today. Have a great day today. Yeah, man. Do I have anything else to say? Not really. I'm ready to hop on into it. Let's go.
My word, what a crazy week it has been for professional wrestling. I mean, seriously, no matter what your particular taste is,
other than Roman Reigns coming back,
been able to found something that tickled your taste.
I gotta know what happened with Braun and Bray Wyatt,
and now we end. We bring it to the close with the hottest event of the summer in the Thunderdome, also known as WWE SummerSlam. Now look, there is a hell of a lot to talk about, so I will just say my name is Simon Miller. This is What Culture Wrestling, and let's up those downs. SummerSlam 2020.
You still gotta hook me up with the workout plan, bro.
Alright, look, I cannot lie. When I did see that WWE had moved Apollo Crews versus MVP, aka Umvuk, for the United States Championship to the pre-show, I got a little bit sad.
MVP,
doesn't matter what they say, or doesn't matter what they do, it's long been pegged as just something you don't really need to care about. So when this got shifted over it, I was a little bit disappointed. Like when you wake up on Christmas Day and you open your presents and you got a flipping Sega Mega Drive when all you wanted was a Super Nintendo. Down. The match was fine though, again, because where it had been placed,
he's still disappointed from that Christmas, but he was a little boy.
Got a little bit of offense in, and Apollo Crews came back, hit him with the spinning powerbomb, got the 1-2-3. He's still your champion. The Hurt Business ran in, but Apollo Crews ran away because he's faster. And that was it. It's just so weird because the amount of time that was actually put into this story, and then we kind of just paid it off on the pre-show. You tell me. SummerSlam then got going.
I mean, I wasn't excited for that anyway, to be honest.
Going properly, I'm just crapping all over the pre-show. I just want to point out, I love the Thunderdome. I really do. Now looking back, it really makes the Performance Center feel claustrophobic and all horrible. And yes, the audio still needs work, like fans react to strange things. But again, it is a work in progress, and this is okay. I'm a big fan of the Thunderdome. And WWE must love that as well, because now they can control the noise. They're not going to get any unexpected booing, which probably explains the return that happened at the end of the show. What a moron. First up was Bayley versus Asuka for the Smackdown Women's Champion, and this was Fabu even before they locked up, because Bayley came down during her entrance looking totally miserable, probably because she was trying to accept that now she's got this stupid Sega console and she just won a Nintendo, and Asuka cut a promo
really
going,
traumatized
you won't
by that
see it
Christmas.
coming, you know, that stupid SummerSlam tagline, but then went, what you will see is me with both titles. That is something a 4-year-old would say, but she pulled it off so well. It's all getting it up. They were properly aggressive right out of the gates too. Unlike someone being improperly aggressive or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. And it all built to Asuka giving Bayley a DDT as she jumped off the apron and smashing her head into the floor. Now, yes, fair enough. That probably would have hurt Asuka just as much, but it looked damn great. Even after that, Bales was somehow managing to get back in control.
They did the same thing that the NBA does with the crowd.
Belly, I actually bet and thought she was going to win, but Asuka kicked out on the last second. Now, near falls in WWE without the ooh reactions do really suffer, but once more, hopefully WWE is working on that as we speak. But a plus side from the Thunderdome is that when Bayley locked in a lug lock, obviously because that's what you would do, you could see some of the digital faces going, get up, Asuka, come on, get up. I thought that was a nice little touch. And then I just collapsed. Shit, just thinking about it and reliving it made it happen again. But of course, I should have known, we all should have known.
Surprise roll-up?
It ended after the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. The first match on SummerSlam, and they giving me surprise roll-ups. Couldn't we at least wait till match number 2? Now look, later
yes,
on,
I'm using my drawers to wipe it.
Behind this, because some people still don't get it. It flies over their head. I don't understand why. But bring it down. There's the board. That is number 65. It happened after Asuka went to give the hip attack to Bayley, but she moved out the way and Asuka careered right into Sasha Banks. And in all this fracas, obviously there was a distraction. I lost my signs. I've already gone back on my word, but I lost it. And yes, it meant Bayley was able to give her the surprise roll-up and get the 1, 2, 3. So that's it now. That's just what WWE does. You get a distraction, you get a roll-up, and 100% of the time,
it works.
You will win. And look, yes, it would have been fine here too, as it would have been fine here
I want Asuka to beat her, to be honest. I'm just not a Bayley fan, bro.
March 2020.
I'm gonna keep it
so
a stack.
Some wrestling match. If you divide
but hopefully Asuka can fight her again.
So we'll round it up to 11. And let's just say, for the sake of whatever, that you get around about 9 WWE shows a month. You get 4 Raws, 4 Smackdowns, and 1 pay-per-view. Then if you take your head and throw it into a number bucket, you will realise that that means, when you all put it together, we are getting more than 1 per event. That is ridiculous.
It is.
Rey Mysterio was then in the back reminding us that he is the worst family member of all time. Because not only had he brought his wife to the arena, I mean, Rey, look what it's done to your son. Why would you bring more people here? But when Dominic said to him, look, Dad, no matter what happens later, I don't want you to intervene, Rey Mysterio went,
Dominic get
yeah,
ass beat.
cool. All right, son. Whatever happens, I'll just watch on with one eye. So let's say that Seth later on was going to try and rip his arm off. Rey would have had to have stood there and gone, well, you know, I did give my word. Rey Mysterio, you are a terrible father. The Raw Tag Team titles are up next.
I hope Dominic got his ass beat, but we'll get to that later.
A bunch of red cups fell from the ceiling. Now, I appreciated the idea, and I appreciated the effort,
getting lit.
but it kind of did look like a garbage truck in the sky had just got rid of its load. Wasn't that great? Tom Phillips also told us that this match was going to be really personal, and I started laughing because Tom, yes, you don't need to remind us of that. Zelina Vega tried to kill Montez Ford. That's pretty personal, but ultimately it was the Street Profits taking on Angel Garza and Andrade, and it was fine. It was okay. It's enough. Montez Ford accidentally knocked Zelina off the apron at one point, and Andrade was so distraught about this, he went to check on her, and that left Angel Garza all by himself. He got beat up. Montez Ford then hit the most just incredible frog splash you've ever seen in your life. He kind of turned in midair, and nobody else should be doing that move when Montez Ford is in the company. They got the 1, 2, 3, and the Street Profits are still your champions. That's right, your champions. Apparently, you're in control. Really, the most interesting part of all of this is that Kevin Owens was on commentary throughout, and he told us that tomorrow night on Raw, or tonight if you're watching this on Monday, he shall be having a Kevin Owens show, and his guest is going to be the returning Alistair Black. Now, I'm probably pulling at straws here, but hands up if you kind of enjoy Alistair Black going heel. The hand is staying up.
I love Alistair Black.
Bayley and Sasha Banks were then being interviewed in the back in some kind of makeshift ring. I have no idea what that was about, but they were being their usual asshole selves and jumping around because Bayley was really happy that she won, and Sasha Banks is already happy because she will win later. At one point, Bayley was literally, brushing up the place because it's going to be a clean sweep. These two are just the best dicks in the entire world.
Yeah, I love
them. WWE ice
I still just don't like.
We're then talking
I'm
about
just not a fan of Bayley, but
mention the adverts on the WWE Network.
Y'all know Crip Gang Sasha Banks. That's my bitch.
But I felt like this one was important. Ice Creams having a conversation. Okay. It was then Mandy Rose versus Sonja Deville, and my word, did I get this wrong on Smackdown Ups and Downs, because I thought, basically as I'm an idiot, that the no DQ and loser leaves WWE stipulation had been shoved in there, as well as the whole hair versus hair thing. But of course, in hindsight, that wasn't the case at all. We changed it, and I understand why. If you don't know what Sonja Deville is going on right now in her non-wrestling life, you can just do a quick Google. And that's why all of this gets a free pass. They've clearly had to change things at the last minute. Some things are more important than wrestling. I feel even silly giving it.
Okay, I hope everything's fine with Sonja Deville.
It was okay.
They
kicked the crap out of each other early on too, and Mandy Rose gave Sonja Deville a suplex onto the aisleway.
Okay.
I think sometimes we forget how much it would hurt, but Sonja kind of got pissed off with that, and she hit her with a chair. that would hurt too. And that was about it really. It was short and sweet. Mandy Rose hit a couple of knees, she hit a face buster, she hit one more knee, and she pinned Sonya Deville, so it's bye-bye Sonya, and of course we'll see her soon. But again, bigger picture here, people, it really doesn't matter. What was odd is that afterward, Otis came out with his Money in the Bank briefcase, and he tried to cash it in on Sonya Deville, as the referees were like, no, Otis, what are you doing, you absolute steak-eating buffoon? That's not how this worked. Also a lie. It didn't happen. He just celebrated with Mandy Rose, his beau, his girlfriend, with the caterpillar, and then Mandy Rose tried to do it, and she couldn't because she sucks. It did feel like I was in a weird dream during that celebration phase, but whatever. Again, I think I've explained myself well enough.
So she couldn't do it?
Let's just send a lot of thoughts and nice positive things to Sonya Deville. Also, don't be a creepy weirdo. It's really easy. I was then massively excited because it was Seth Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio, and it did what every single good wrestling match should do. I was covered in intrigue because I didn't know what direction it was going to go in. And then Seth Rollins came out as if Barney the dinosaur had thrown up over him. Honestly, I've never seen gear more purple, but I respected it, and I liked it because Seth always makes a big deal of his attire at SummerSlam. He's made it his own, so good for you. They also noticed, this may have been happening for weeks, but I haven't seen it up to this point, that on Murphy's tights, he now has Disciple written down them. So he's been branded like cow.
Sidekick, Murphy.
I do have to say, whoever came up with the idea that Seth Rollins and Dominic should have a proper wrestling match to kick these things off, well, you may be a little bit nuts. Think of everything these two have done to each other leading up to this point. I mean, Dominic's dad, Rey Mysterio, you may have heard of him, had his eye ripped out of his skull, and you had all that kendo stick stuff. And to kick things off, they did a lock-up and some arm drags. That doesn't make any sense. Dominic should have run at him
trying to kill each other
off
top.
I don't know, rip Seth's nose off like, you took my dad's eye, I'll take your nose. And ate him, be like, ha ha, who crazy now? Okay. The answer would have been him. I mean, Seth even offered his head to Dominic at one point. And what did Dom do? He put on a headlock. Don't put on a headlock, knee him. Break his jaw, smash his face. Or, you know, take your thumb and ram it right in his eye. Like a maniac. When it sped up as Dominic started to fly around the place, as Rey Mysterio, who was looking on, shed a tear from his single eye, it was far, far better. But I do have to say, it took too long to get nuts. Remember Michael Keaton in the Batman movie? You want to get nuts? Let get nuts. Well, we didn't pertain to that piece of advice. That bit gets it down. However, as soon as all this nonsense had pissed Seth Rollins off, he told Murphy to pass him a stick. And that line made me laugh. Imagine it was from a tree. He just started smacking you with it. You just look at him like, Seth, this doesn't hurt at all. But then it did get a bit crazy. And also, Dominic Mysterio, ladies and gentlemen, think of the pressure on his shoulders.
Yeah,
because not only
going
was
up
it his
against
first
Seth
ever match,
Rollins.
Not only was it his first ever match at SummerSlam, but he's the flipping kid of one of the best wrestlers ever. And I thought he went out there and he did a damn good job. Even I was proud. So think of Rey today. He must be proud as punch. So the rest of it is good enough. Rollins also started to lay lumps into Dominic again with that kendo stick as Rey Mysterio just watched on. And again, Rey, you're such a crappy father.
He didn't get involved?
He really
didn't?
The fact you gave him his word, get in there and protect your kid. But he didn't. Look like because you know his eye. Rollins was then going to go for a super curb stop after jumping off a chair, but Dominic was able to reverse that and throw Seth into it as well. And when they were both on the top ropes and a table had been set up, Dominic Mysterio basically gave him a leg sweep from the top through the wood, and I was going crazy. I haven't rooted for someone this intensely for so long. I really wanted Dominic to win.
Dominic should have got his ass beat. He can't fight Seth Rollins, nigga. This don't even make sense.
You know what? You would have been right. I got carried away. Little Mysterio then hit a tornado DDT, and that got a really near fall. And that's when he got a kendo stick, and he started to wail on Seth Rollins. This is where WWE made a massive mistake with their audio, because they were piping in like polite clapping as if we were in some posh bar and somebody was playing piano, and that really was very, very distracting. Unfortunately, he couldn't follow up on any of this because he's a rookie and Seth runs the experienced guy. However, Dominic did kick out of his top rope superplex Falcon Arrow thingy, and I thought that was a massive deal. It was also a shame for little Dommy boy, because then Seth had to stick again, and honestly, good grief,
beat the shit out of him.
Hit him so hard, even I was going, ow, ow, ow. Somebody had seen me, I would have gone to jail.
It looked like Murphy jumped,
little things here and there, like a frog splash, which once again I bought as the finish. But every time Seth was on top, Again, the stick shots were just brutal. He gave him a powerbomb, which I thought had broken Dominic's neck. He hit so hard. No wonder Rey was losing on the outside. His son was getting his ass whipped. Rollins then decided that Dominic's clothing was some kind of protective barrier, so he ripped that off and again just continued to waylay him with this stupid stick. When Mrs. Mysterio came out the top of the rampway, I was like, right, that's it. Somebody's got to get involved. But then Rey ran to her. I was like, no, even if he dies, he dies. We've already decided on this. But this was like a moth to the flame. Because Rollins spied this from a mile off and was like, well, I've wrecked the dad, I wrecked the son, why don't I just do the same to the wife? Ah, shit. This was like spinach to Popeye though, because all of a sudden Dominic went mad at the thought of his mum being beaten up by Seth Rollins. Once again, he was back on the attack, even though seconds earlier, Murphy was trying to remove his eye with those damn steel stairs again. So he got over that very quickly. Unfortunately, his inexperience did show through because he went for another frog splash. Seth Rollins got his knees up, hit the curb stomp, and he beat Dominic Mysterio for the 1, 2, 3. And I was genuinely upset in the way that you're meant to be upset. The really cool bit is that before this, Seth Rollins and Murphy had handcuffed Rey Mysterio to the rope. So even though he was desperately trying to help his kid, he couldn't. And that's the kind of emotion I want in my pro wrestling. I could really feel Rey Mysterio's pain. Well, not the eye thing. I've never had my eye removed. But again, spiritually, I totally got it. And sure, you don't ever need to watch this again, but I really do think Dominic Mysterio did great here.
That's
and
good.
Just as a fan,
his
on
first
his couch,
pay-per-view,
rooting somebody on,
that's
both
good.
From a kayfabe and non-kayfabe
That's good.
point of view.
I guess he's going to become a WWE wrestler now. That's what's up.
Long, but who cares? Asuka was back out then. She getting up. Was taking on Sasha Banks, of course, for the Raw Women's
Asuka was back out. She get up.
Okay. And they did exactly what we thought they were going to do.
He just gave her up for no reason.
That is what
I fuck with Asuka too, though. She a beast.
Very polite. Another one. Round of applause. Play that piano. Ding, ding, ding. But after Bayley had been smacked so hard by Asuka, she kind of backed off like a wounded animal. Asuka locked in the Asuka lock, and with no friends, Sasha Banks had no choice but to tap out. As the commentators went, wait a minute. Earlier in the day, Sasha Banks was willing to help her best friend, but here, Bayley didn't. So
Bayley beat Asuka, but Crip Gang Sasha Banks had to lose.
Be a Raw Women's Champion. Asuka is, and you just know something's about to implode. Now it is kind of hilarious how every time Sasha Banks wins a championship, she can't hold it for more than 7 seconds before she loses it. But I'm going to assume that when she does beat Bayley for the Smackdown one, she will have a lengthy reign. All of this just worked so well. I'm so pleased for Asuka. She's just wonderful. And one day she is going to be the Empress, and I bet she makes the world a better place. It was then time for Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre with the WWE title on the line. This was just excellent. It had a big time feel. You didn't know who was going to win and who was going to lose. Drew and Randy treated this like the majestic spectacle that it was. They were hard hitting and they kicked each other's ass. I just loved it. I loved every second. I was on the edge of my seat going, oh, what are we going to do? And I would have been happy either way. It is getting it up.
Me
I
too.
really do mean that too.
Either way who wins, I'm cool
with it. Both guys had blood pouring from their head. And there was this really cool spot where, like, Drew McIntyre had been put in the Tree of Woe position and Randy Orton was perched on the top rope. And then, like, Jaws was a shark, so he wouldn't have been able to do this. But whatever. Like Jaws, he kind of did a sit-up, grabbed Randy, and chucked him across the ring. He is such a badass WWE champion.
He is. Drew McIntyre is a fire.
He's a beast. Time, but McIntyre was too smart for that, and he got out of the way. And Randy realised this. So when Drew was in the right position, he went, all right, I'm not going to do that. And he took a few steps back, and he was going to pump Drew McIntyre so hard in the face, his skin was going to come off. But McIntyre clearly had this scouted because he reversed that into a powerbomb, and that was also absolutely brilliant. And then he went for the Claymore kick, and he missed. And I was like, oh no, what's going to happen now? Well, Randy went for the RKO, but Drew McIntyre had clearly been studying a lot of wrestling tape because he turned it into the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, or in this case, the surprise backslide. And I wrote a poem. WWE loves to do roll-ups. They happen all the time. And if this keeps on occurring, I'll start to cry, but it's fine. So let us not pretend otherwise. It's as clear as a plane that glides, because you can call it what you want, but it's the same as a backslide. The key is in the surprise. A wrestler is always stunned, which is why when I see it, I go and get a gun. Well, that's way too much. I think that looks
He's about to commit suicide. He's saying, tired of this bullshit.
A backslide is different from a surprise roll-up. Yes, you are correct, but that's also like saying a punch is different from a kick. Ultimately, they're all in the same universe. You're still hitting someone, but getting back on track. This was actually the perfect finish. Drew McIntyre outthought Randy Orton, and Randy Orton is the heel, which is what should go down, but it ties into the bigger issue that WWE simply does this too much. So when they should do it, and when they could do it, and when they would do it, it doesn't have the same impact or gravitas as it would have done otherwise.
They did it twice on this pay-per-view. It was like, come on, bro.
And at that point, I gave you some wrestling maths. So it hurts me to do this. It does. But I'm a man of my word, and I said that I would. And it's not fair on Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. They smashed it out the park here, and that wasn't the main event, but it was one of my favourite main events.
But sometimes you gotta remember, though.
But again, I said I would. So I would.
If they're equal,
he gets it down.
They don't want either one to be like, oh, he's better than him or he's stronger. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think they do that.
The situation you're putting us in, it's not right.
But I mean, it does suck.
Bring down the board. We've got to do that too. That's number 66. 66. Is that the number of the beast? I can't even remember. No, that was 666. We'll probably be at that point before the end of 2020. Again, though, absolutely excellent WWE title match. Then we had a video saying Keith Lee is coming to Raw. And I did a little dance of joy because I was really upset after NXT. I don't know why. I'm just a fan of Keith Lee. I thought he got dealt a bad hand. But if he is going to be brought to the main roster and go on some kind of tear,
he's coming on
wonderful light at the end of the tunnel.
They better.
And then bravo.
I'm sorry. I got to pause it right here. They better not fuck with my guy. You know how some people come up from NXT and they kind of like die off, they not as good? They better not do that to Keith Lee, a.k.a. the big homie, a.k.a. Uncle Jerry. I'm be mad.
The Fiend versus Braun Strowman. It didn't go very long. They kicked the absolute crap out of each other.
Oh, they didn't have
and there was a surprise ending. This is one of the easiest.
I thought this was going to be like a whole production thing again.
I was laughing straight away because the Fiend gave Braun Strowman two of those neck-breaking moves. And I can't help it. I just go, how is this still alive? He just got murdered. But I do enjoy the fact that no matter how big you are, how small you are, the Fiend will always use his magic powers to destroy you. Because obviously Strowman is the monster among men, but not even he could contain the power of the Fiend. When he went and grabbed that toolbox, I was a little bit confused because I was like, WWE, do not remind anybody about that Hell in a Cell debacle. Luckily, it did have a payoff later on, so I let it go. There was also a Falls Count Anywhere match, which I think was announced on Talking Smack. It was a little bit out of nowhere.
Okay, so they was all over everywhere fighting.
That's cool, the Fiend was just chucking Braun Strowman into walls and giving him a Sister Abigail on the floor. I think it was, well, you know, it had the hard-hitting nature that it needed to. Both of these guys had just stored up a bunch of finishes like they were playing WWE 2K, and they kept kicking out of them, but I've become immune to that now. It's just what WWE does with the Fiend and with Braun Strowman. Clearly confused about what to do, though, Braun went to the toolbox and he got out a box cutter, which is essentially a knife. And I'll be honest with you, I will let you into my own life. I genuinely thought he was going to stab Bray Wyatt. That's what I thought. I said to myself, oh my gosh, he's going to kill him. And it didn't actually seem that far-fetched because of the swamp match. He had been drowned. He wanted to get his revenge. As it turned out, he wasn't going to do that. But he did start cutting away at the ring canvas. And he had done this to expose the boards underneath because he was then going to slam the Fiend into that. But he took too long. And after around about 58,790
Sister Abigail on it.
The Fiend pinned Braun Strowman and basically, kinda, beat him clean. He is once again your Universal Champ. And then this was actually alright, but it was the aftermath that sent it through the roof. Because you never saw it coming, and that tagline is now doubly stupid because somebody did see it coming, because Roman Reigns must have told somebody he was coming. Anyway, Roman Reigns did make his return to WWE, and he had a shirt that said, wreck everyone and leave. So he wrecked everyone. Well, he didn't leave, he stood there with the belt. But this was so damn cool. He kicked the Fiend's ass, he kicked Braun Strowman's ass, he was like talking smack the whole time, the program's back and so is Roman, and he felt so much more awesome than he ever has done. Now, if we get rid of the bulletproof vest, or whatever you want to call it, and change his music, and present Roman as the brand new Reigns, I think this is a character we need in the WWE right now. And yes, he's got new teeth. Somebody did up his gnashes. Good for him. I don't know why we focus on these things. he is just a human being, and if he's got the
got-
money to
he
do
got,
it, good for him. More importantly,
what's it called?
he came across
Dentures
like a
or
flubbing
whatever it's called?
badass. This was a massive ending to SummerSlam, which is meant to be a massive show, and I truly did love it. It made
So
me
Roman
feel
Reigns is coming after the
excited.
title,
I
huh?
want to see Raw, and I want to see SmackDown.
The Fiend.
Slightly
Don't let him take
worried
it from you,
Payback
bro.
that he's actually going to have a match with these two and win the title, and that will be bad because it's exactly what WWE was doing before. But
Exactly.
I'm not going to get ahead of
I
myself.
hope
It's
he
thumbs
does
all
challenge the
around.
Fiend and the Fiend
What a
beats
way
him.
to end
That's
the
what I
hottest
want.
event of the summer.
All right, shout out to my boy Simon. Great fucking video like always, man. I appreciate you for keeping me up to date with what happened on the pay-per-view. Now, Roman Reigns is back. Shout out my boy Roman Reigns. I fuck with Roman Reigns heavy. Everybody knows Roman Reigns is a beast, but they push him extremely hard. So, what I want to happen is, yeah, I want him to challenge the Fiend, and then I want him and the Fiend to have a match on the next pay-per-view, and I want Roman Reigns to lose. That's what I want personally. You know what I'm saying? I want them to have a match. I want it to be another production type match to where it's like a lot of effects and stuff. And I want the Fiend to beat Roman Reigns. That's what I want personally. Sasha Banks, Simon said he thinks Sasha Banks is gonna fight Bayley, and then she's gonna take it from Bayley. I want that to happen as well. I hope that happens. But SummerSlam actually seemed pretty good. I'm surprised that, yeah, Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, it was a surprise roll-up. That kind of sucks. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Drew McIntyre, he retains the championship belt. Nothing wrong with that. Drew McIntyre's a fucking beast. That Claymore kick is deadly, like I always say. Seth Rollins and fucking Rey Mysterio and Dominic, it sounded cool. I expected Seth Rollins to beat the shit out of him because, you know what I'm saying? That nigga's a rookie, and Seth Rollins is a beast. You feel me? But I guess they wanted a really good match, so of course they made Dominic do a lot of, they made Dominic do well, and nothing's wrong with that. But my boy Seth Rollins came away with the W like I wanted. Of course, I'm going to do WWE Raw Top 10 Moments. I'll do that tomorrow so I can stay up to date. I'm going to see y'all next time.